here with Grant Fisher. I just talked to Cole. He was saying that you guys are definitely targeting sub 730, but I bet your heights you might be thinking of even higher heights on that. So, have you had any input on kind of asking for a pace or kind of a direct goal that you want out of this race?
It sounds like the pace will be about 5 flat through 2K, maybe a touch faster. These meets, the pace changes all the way up till like hours before, so you never really know. But it'll be fast. Sounds like they relayed the track and it's even faster than it was before. So I think it'll be quick, and I think the time to win, I would agree with Cole. I bet the winning time will be sub 730, based on what the rabbits are likely going through, and then if we have a few guys there with a few laps to go, it'll be a squeeze. So I think it'll be a competitive race. I don't think it'll be a landslide in anyone's direction, but I think it'll be fast.
So last year you definitely squeezed very hard. Josh came over the top of you. What do you think for this year, looking back on that, how you can kind of reverse that and maybe have that last lap be your fastest and
Sure.
hold off? So how are you approaching that?
Yeah, so last year I was up against the defending global champion in the 1500, and this year I'm up against the defending global champion in the 1500. So, very competitive athletes coming off a massive high in their career. So I would say the target, or not the target, but the eyes are more on Cole. I'd say he's a gold medalist. I'm merely a bronze medalist.
Twice.
So, yeah, I think I mentioned this in the press conference, but these guys know that I'm a strength runner. They know that, like, if it's between me and Cole or me and Josh with 100 to go, I would probably bet on them over me in most races. So my best strategy is to make it hard before that. Cole is no slouch at the 5K, so I know he has great strength. He's a sub 13 guy, so he's a hard guy to run away from. But last year was super competitive. I wish I had more gears at the end, and I had the gears in August, which is when I really wanted them. But you still want them all the time, if that makes sense. So we'll see where the gears are on the weekend, and I think, like I said, it'll be a fast race. So if Cole is there with a lap to go, 2 laps to go, I'm going to need to press pretty hard. So it'll be fun.
And as far as I know, next week you have this 5K. Any more details? Anyone that's doing it, or is that still kind of on the DL, right?
It's up in the air. Anyone is welcome to come. It's not a closed meet by any means. One of the hardest parts is securing a pacer.
Yeah.
Last year I had someone get me to 2K, and then I squeezed for the last 3K, and that was hard. That added up. Leading is, in my opinion, more hard than following. So working on getting a pacer. If I get someone to get me anywhere past 2K is bonus. So and if there's other competitive athletes in the field that are also racing, trying to dip pretty far under 13 minutes, then that'd be excellent as well. So I hope the field comes together, and I think BU is plenty famous for being fast, so I know it'll be quick.
Yeah. And another thing I've noticed in this year is a lot of your biggest competitors are actually really doing marathon debuts. We got Barega, got Kiklimo. Chef, the guy's obviously done it before, but he's going harder into it. So just kind of like, what do you think of that? And are you at all tempted to do the same? And do you feel like it's kind of opening up for you even a little bit in terms of, like, you have that singular focus still on the track, and that's how you might rise to the podium, is stay focused, stay locked in on your events?
I think every year it gets harder. There's people that leave and people that come in, and the people that come in are super hungry and motivated, and it always gets harder. So, those guys that you mentioned, most of them are gold medalists in something. So maybe they feel like they've completed the track, whereas I don't have that feeling yet. I don't necessarily want to feel like I'm completely tapped out of the track by the time I move to the roads, because I don't think that's the right way to do it. I want to give myself a shot to still be really competitive on the roads. I don't want to wait too long, but I think I still there's still things I can do on the track that I want to get done, and eventually I will move to the roads. And I was thinking about debuting in the half marathon this year, potentially at Houston or New York, but it just didn't work with my track schedule. Next year, potentially a half marathon debut. It's an off year on the track. So a little less things to worry about and to peak for. So potentially a half debut next year, and then I think a marathon is in my future. Will I be marathoning by the time LA 28 comes around? I don't know. Maybe. It kind of depends on how that first half goes. So I think I have a future on the roads, just I'm not done with the track just yet.
Okay, and one of the guys who's probably, honestly, I think your chief rival, and you kind of had an interesting parallel arc with him, is Barega Aragawi. You finished right near him in a bunch of champs. You guys were right fighting for that medal in 10K. So I'm kind of wondering, do you guys have any sort of like relationship or rapport? I know he's Ethiopian, there'd be a language barrier there, but like, you guys must be familiar with each other, your style of running and all that.
Yeah, I think it's mutual respect mostly. Fantastic runner. He has incredible range all the way up through half marathon. So as a guy you have to respect. He can change pace really quickly, and I've been next to him so many times. So yeah, we're friendly. I think it's mutual respect. I wouldn't say we're best friends just because we only see each other a handful of times each year, and usually it's in a race setting, so you're not really chopping it up with the guys the morning of the race. But yeah, I would say we have mutual respect for what each other have done.
Yeah, I don't want to throw a crazy time at you, but he did run 7:21 last year, and you guys are very close. And that was in a race with Yaakov. You kind of think if you got in a similar setup, you could run something crazy like that?
Yeah, it depends. To really rip a fast time, a lot of factors have to line up. Pacing needs to be good, weather needs to be good, your fitness needs to be perfect. And it's helpful to have another athlete in the race that's also running fast rather than soloing it. So, yeah, a lot of things need to line up. Ultimately, this sport is about place, not time. But at certain times of the year, it is fun to try to run fast. Like next week in BU, I really would like to rip something and just see, where's my limit time-wise. And, can times be compared like decade over decade? It's a little challenging, and people debate that all the time with the shoes and the different tracks and all these different things. But I just more want to see where's my limit. Can I run 1250 indoors? We'll see.
Yeah. And have you had any progress on training partners? I know you've been looking to recruit.
Slow progress. The hard part is that this sport is pseudo-controlled by shoe companies.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are in between contracts right now. A lot of contracts will follow the Olympic cycle. So at the end of 2024, a lot of contracts ended. And depending on who people sign with going forward, that might dictate if they have to join a group or have the option to join a group or anything like that. Whereas my situation is pretty independent of shoe companies. So, I'm open to and looking for the right person to train with full time, and it's coming along slowly. But there's a lot of factors at play.
Yeah, and one more thing, former teammate Shelby Houlihan, she's back in the sport, she just raced. Like, what's your thoughts on her return? Have you reached out to her or anything like that?
I haven't spoken to her since she's raced again. Clearly she's in very good shape. I think she's racing again this weekend, so yeah, she's a very competitive person, and I think any field that she's in is people are going to watch. It's people have very strong opinions either way, and I think wherever she races, there'll be fireworks.
For sure. Thanks, Grant.
Yeah.